Shabbat Shalom from Temple Concord. This week our Torah portion is Mishpatim, laws, and we learn about all sorts of different rules and laws that we're supposed to follow. The question is, why do we need all of these laws? And does it really matter? I mean, every one of the laws concerns either human interaction with other humans or humans with God, and it's not like the laws of physics where they're inviolable, where they have to be a certain way. In the laws between us and God, there's automatically going to be some wiggle room, and certainly in terms of how we deal with other people, there's going to be some wiggle room. So what's the point? What's the purpose of having all of these laws? I think the answer is in terms of how we're building a society and the norms we're trying to create. So we're trying to craft a system that says we have normative practice. We have a system that generally works, even though there are always going to be flaws. And yes, there's room to wiggle and to argue and to find your own voice, but there's a general system in place. This is part of the challenge, frankly, that the president's facing in Washington, in that he's coming from a place of no system. He has no background in politics and no understanding of it necessarily, so that he's trying to walk into a system and change it all without being part of the system. And I say all of that without being partisan. It's the nature of what he's facing. He's walking in trying to change a legal system, and he has no concept of what the system is. Our tradition says, if you want to change the laws of the system, go ahead, but do it within the system. So in that sense, our system would be absolutely against what the president's trying to do, not on political grounds, but on structural grounds, that we believe in a political system and that we have to function within that system. It's a big difference because it's how we look at the world. We Jews see the world as orderly, and our path is to make it more orderly, and that our system takes chaos and creates order from it. And when we look at the rest of our world, we want to do the same thing. So it's an interesting question of how law works and what its role is. And that's what our Torah portion, I think, is really driving at us with this week, more than the particulars of do this, don't do that. I hope you'll join us for services. Friday evening services are at 6 p.m. Saturday morning services, of course, at 11 a.m. We have our one of the classes in our school, I believe it's our fourth graders, are participating in services this weekend. So lots of fun with all of them. Next week we have lots going on. On Sunday morning we have our Scholar Series continues with Abigail Pogrebin, who has a wonderful book about living Jewishly for a year. I invite you to join us Sunday morning and to even more to pick up the book and read it. It's a wonderful read. Sunday we also have the first in our 5th grade Parents Bar Mitzvah series that will end up in our children getting their B'nai Mitzvah dates. So lots of excitement for our 5th graders. In the coming week we have lots going on. Our film series is next week. Next week we'll celebrate Federation Shabbat. We have a Chinese dinner next Friday night. So lots of things going on. For now, I invite you to spend a little time thinking about how structure works. What kinds of structure do we create in our own homes, in our own families? How do we understand when that structure gets violated? And how do we deal with the challenges of having a structured system and then needing to work from the outside or to change it? All of those questions are important questions, and I believe our Torah portion pushes us to ponder them. Shabbat Shalom for now. Look forward to seeing you at the temple.